Hello and welcome to Devalianty Plays A Mortician's Tale by Laundry Bear Games. This game was part of the Humble Bundles bundle for racial justice and equality. This game features death, suicide mention, and shows medical practices performed on the deceased. Discretion is advised. Now, without further ado, let's get started.
September 14th, 10:15 a.m. Oh my gosh. The mouse sensitivity on this is crazy, and I tried to fix it and I could not. Hello and welcome to our new funeral director, from Matthew Jeffrey to Charlie. Welcome, Charlie. Nice to meet you. My name's Matthew, and I'm mainly going to be the man who delivers the bodies to you and helps with some of the more heavy lifting. Ever hear a joke about a hearse driver? I'll tell you when I come by in a bit. Looking forward to working together. I think you'll enjoy working here. Amy is a sweetheart, but she runs a tight ship. Nothing you can't handle, I'm sure. She couldn't have hired you otherwise. She wouldn't have, so I can't read. Cheers and good luck. Matthew J., Funeral Director, Rose and Daughters Funeral Home. Hello and welcome to our new show. Okay. So, that was that one. Instructions from Amy Rose. Hello, Charlie. Well, you're new here, so it's probably best I explain where everything is. In your office preparation room, you'll find your cremation station, cremulator station, embalming station, and obviously, since you're reading this email, your desk and computer area. I know you have experience working with these stations, but please let me know if you have any questions. Best, Amy Rose, founder and director. Good luck, you beautiful and smart babe, you. Jen Love to Charlie. I guess my subject line to you should start being more professional now that we are business professionals. I can't wait to get your reply so I can see your fancy new email signature. I love that you were able to land this gig straight after graduating. It sounds super cool. I didn't even know mom and pop funeral homes were a thing until now. Guess it's just not something I really think about much. I should look more into this, learn more about your world and the industry, because as I said, you are now a serious professional. Speaking of being a professional, my museum gig is amazing. I can't believe somebody paid me to move to London, and not London, Ontario, serial killer capital of Canada, to work in a museum. Take that, everyone who said I couldn't get a job with an art history degree. I'll tell you more about it when we Skype. My stories require you to see my face and that you hear my excellent British accent impersonation. Also, I send you up for a funerals monthly newsletter. Consider it your graduation gift. I love you. I'm super proud of you. I am super proud of you. Gift. Sure. Love you, love you, love you. Jen L. Lesson 3, Museum Curator, London Pathology Museum. Alright, so today's task from Amy Rose, the director. Thank you. Oh, reply with an auto response. Sure thing, I'll get right to it. Hello, Charlie. Hope you settled in okay so far. Matthew should have dropped off your first body, so for you to work on. He said you were really friendly and he's glad to have someone young and lively to work with. You'll get used to his sense of humor. Your first body is Mrs. Garcia, an elderly woman who died suddenly of a heart attack. The family has asked for a closed casket funeral, so no embalming or body preparation is necessary. The family seems a little bit more united than previous families we dealt with. Strange how grief affects people differently. Perhaps having more time to say goodbye makes things a bit easier, if that's possible. That being said, although you will not be embalming Mrs. Garcia, I do think it's important to take the time to clean her body. No one is going to see her body, but I like to encourage my funeral directors to do this out of respect for the deceased and their loved ones. You'll find Mrs. Garcia in the prep room. Talk soon. Alright, and then from the funerals monthly tips for good etiquette at a funeral. to subscriber. Thanks for subscribing. Each month we bring you a newsletter featuring a topic pertaining to the death industry. This month is all about good etiquette at attending a funeral. I really can't believe we have to write this one out, but since we said we'll answer your most popular questions, here we are, because this is definitely one of the most popular questions. Funerals are a hard time, and we understand that, but here are some quick and easy rules to remember for being respectful at a funeral. Generally, following the guidelines of don't be a jerk should work. Don't be on your cell phone. We understand you're busy, but this is a time and a place to disengage. If you have to be on your cell phone, don't do so inside the funeral home. Don't be loud and obnoxious. You can share happy stories, but other people who are also grieving and working through their own healing process. Being quiet gives other people space they might need. Don't get drunk. Everyone can deal with their feelings in their own ways. Just remember to be respectful when with the grieving family and friends. Happily reminisce. Sometimes remembering happy moments and positive experiences with the deceased can be a productive part of the healing process. Number 5. Give condolences. It's not easy knowing what to say to someone, but even a simple "I'm thinking of you" can go a long way. Number 6. Dress appropriately. What this looks like will change based on the customs of the deceased and their culture, but always dress in a way that shows respect to the deceased and their grieving family. Oh, why are you going the other way? There's no number 7. Okay. Number 8. Give a gift or sign the registration book. This can be flowers or a nice card, but it's the thought that counts here. Sometimes this can be even just cooking dinner for the grieving family. Anything that shows you care and want to help them through the healing process is what matters here. Be kind and be helpful. So that's my emails. And this is where we work now. About Rose and Daughters. Rose and Daughters Funeral Home was founded by my grandparents back in 1956. The Rose family has proudly served the area since then, providing personal, affordable funeral services for all. I'm proud to have carried on my family's business for the last 36 years, working with the best and brightest funeral directors and grief counselors in the area. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you've recently experienced a loss and would like us to help you through this hard time. Our services. Here at Rose and Daughters Funeral Home, we have committed to providing loved ones with the best and most affordable funeral services in the area. We offer a diverse range of personalized funeral service options to fit every need. Prices. Burial with open casket ceremony and reception, $5,985. Burial with closed casket ceremony and reception, $4,275. Cremation with ceremony and reception, $1,700. Direct burial with no ceremony or reception, $1,905 all inclusive. Direct cremation with no ceremony or reception, $600 all inclusive. We also offer custom packages to suit every budget and need. Please do not hesitate to contact us with any questions. Amy@roseanddaughters.com. I should probably respond to Amy, because it gave me that option to do that. Okay. Cool, so I guess this is Mrs. Garcia, so if we go over here, we're gonna clean her body. Okay, this is the prep room where you will prepare bodies for burial viewings. Because the family has requested a closed casket ceremony with no embalming, you are going to clean the body. Click on the sponge and drag it over the body to clean it. It's like one of those makeup games for your... It's like clean your face and everything. That's it, you're done. Mrs. Garcia will be sent to Mike, who will take care of dressing and putting her in the casket. It's time to go to Mrs. Garcia's funeral. You are responsible for taking care of the deceased body, but it's also important for you to pay your respects to their loved ones. Follow the arrow to head to the funeral parlor. Okay. Oh, I got changed quick. There's a guy talking to a plant. She would have hated these paintings. She was so particular. Okay. I guess I'm done talking to them? Yeah, at least she doesn't have to see them, I guess. That's... yeah, I guess. Okay, so... she looks like Wednesday Addams. Yeah, I heard the family specifically said no embalming. I thought it was mandatory, like required by law, but I guess not. Embalming weirds me out. Do those chemicals leach into the ground? Seems strange to be using a chemical that is known to cause cancer and putting it into the ground like that. Or into the sewer. That's what they must do with the leftover formaldehyde, right? Just pour it down the drain. At least embalming guarantees you won't be buried alive. Stop it. Don't make me laugh right now. I hate wearing pantyhose. My legs are so itchy. But it's always so cold in these funeral homes. I think I might actually miss those sweaters she used to knit for me now. Mom, I'm hungry. When can we go? I think I actually said that at a funeral once. We usually don't small talk a lot at these things. At least that's what I was always taught. So I guess that's my coworker. That's sweet. So I guess I'm done. October 11th, 10 o'clock, 9 minutes a.m. 10:09 a.m. Because I forgot how to say things. Cool, so I'm cleaning that and I got an email. At least my coffee is still hot. I see the email. Calm down. Okay, so next job. Here are the instructions for your next body. You did a remarkable job on the first one. The family was very happy with you. No small feat, of course. Pleasing a grieving family isn't exactly the most comfortable of jobs. Your next job is a man named Mr. Duval, an elderly man, died of old age. Nothing fancy, just a standard funeral with embalming. You can reach out to his daughter Lizzie Duval if you have any questions. She's handling her father's passing as well as can be expected. As always, don't hesitate to ask me any questions. P.S. Charlie dear, please remember to wear proper embalming gear. Formaldehyde is extremely dangerous. I know I don't need to tell you, but my maternal instincts are hard to ignore. I promise I won't mother you too much. Well, just a little. Ask Matthew. He knows. Okay, so... what to wear when you're attending a funeral from a different culture. Oh, that's actually really cool that they're having these newsletters. We all know everyone wants to be respectful at funerals. Don't talk too loudly, be kind, smile, and refrain from making inappropriate jokes, at least around the grieving family. Hey, sometimes some people do need a little bit of a pick-me-up during such hard times. Who are we to judge? And a big part of that is knowing what to wear. Roman Catholic funerals tend to lean more to the formal black attire rule, and it works for us. But did you know this goes back to the days of the Roman Empire where people would wear black as a symbol for mourning? Black isn't universally the symbol for mourning, though, and if you're attending a funeral that is from a culture that is not your own, it's important to understand this. Some colors have different meanings, and despite your best intention, the wrong choice could mean accidental offense. For example, in Hinduism and in Chinese cultures, white is a typical color for funerals. For Islam, though, it is less about the color you are wearing and more about how modestly you are dressed. Refrain from wearing any elaborate jewelry and be respectful of your behavior. For Sikh funerals, color of the clothing isn't as important as is dressing modestly and being able to appropriately sit cross-legged. Actually, being respectful is just the number one rule for any funeral, no matter what, really. Remember that, and please don't hesitate to ask what is and isn't appropriate to wear. If you are attending to support a friend, family member, or partner, this day is not about you. So be sure to do whatever you can to be as respectful and supportive as possible, even if that means not wearing what you're used to wearing at a funeral, or even if it just means asking how you can appropriately show your respects. Story about death. Hey there, Charlie. I was driving around the other day, taking our clients on their last trip around town, and I was thinking, strange, I know, did I ever tell you the first time I went to a funeral? I was a teenager, about to start university, and a friend of mine was killed in a car accident, totally out of the blue. Really tragic stuff, messed me up, and me and my friends up real good. But so the big day, we all got into our best suits and dresses and packed ourselves into a few cars. There were a lot of us, so we had at least 3 different cars full of us, like clown cars, Well, we're in the procession going to the cemetery. Somebody in our car got a phone call from a friend in a different car. Turns out, some asshat driver who doesn't know not to get in the way of a procession drove through the intersection and smashed straight into our friend's car. Nobody was hurt, thank God, but can you imagine getting that call? Anyways, one of my friends in the same car as me, the one who got the phone call, hung up and started laughing. Just laughing her ass off in the way that makes you not sure if they're really just crying or if they've gone fully off the deep end. And she laughed, and then we all started giggling because, go figure. Life just messes up sometimes, There's no moral, point to that story, I guess. I just remembered that story and wanted to tell you. Because we worked with death all the time, and I still times get caught off guard, but by what that actually means. Oh, before you get any ideas, that has nothing to do with why I became a funeral director. That decision came totally later and is nothing unremarkable. Somebody has to do it, and I have a strong stomach, so why not? I'll see you in a bit, Charlie. Just passing the message along. Thanks for the hard work, Charlie. Hi, Amy. Please pass our deepest thanks to you and your staff for the wonderful job they did with our mother's funeral. It was really lovely. Our family so rarely gets together. It was nice seeing everyone come out for such a beautiful service. My son never gets to see his family. Also, it was incredibly kind of you to let us bring our own food in. Getting to share home-cooked meals, sharing stories, being there together, it meant a lot. So what I'm saying is it was nice for everyone to be there like that. Together in that way. And I know how much of that was due to the work of your staff, especially your funeral director. Thank you for making this difficult time easier for all of us. Best, Mia. I am so frustrated right now. Okay, let me explain this bit in more detail. A colleague and I were discussing the tiger lacer's liver specimen we have here at the museum. It's from a woman who died in 1907, and the liver is tapered inwards from what the doctor leading the autopsy believed was too tight lacing on her corset. It's fascinating because it's kind of a controversial topic. Tight lacing. That was super popular, and while people associate it with fainting or hysteria, it's actually been associated with viscerorhabdosis, which is when the organs fall to the lower part of the abdomen, right? Which is super unsettling, but can also be caused by being pregnant. So, TLDR, corsets probably messed up some bones, but likely didn't do this kind of internal organ damage. And I'm tired of the condescension about my wardrobe that always implies that I don't know what I'm doing. These are the kinds of things I specifically research, and yet I'm treated like I know nothing about. I am having a day, Charlie. Can I rant for just a second? I'm so tired of hearing strangers, colleagues, anybody, male colleagues, get on my case for wearing corsets. I wear them under my blazer and over a nice blouse, so it's not like I'm dressing inappropriately, even though dress codes are such sexist BS anyways. And I hate how their misogyny gets veiled in faux concern. Jen, I'm just worried you're damaging your body. You know what corsets do to livers, right? Corsets don't do anything to livers. They're definitely not hurting me as much as your condensation is hurting my head. Sorry. I'm out of sorts right now. I'll send you another email in a little bit when I'm cooled off a bit. Has this changed any? I don't think so. No, it hasn't changed. So if we close out of this, I have a dog staring at me. Wait, how do I have another email? Oh, that's because Okay, I'll get right on it. Okay, so I've got to embalm this man whose name I've already forgotten. I make a great funeral director. Okay. Traditional burials typically require embalming, which preserves the body and prevents it from decomposing as quickly. Unless the family requests otherwise, all traditional burials will use embalming. Let's start by cleaning the body. Okay, so I got my sponge. Okay, so I don't need to go back and forth, I just need to wipe over it. Okay. Click on the razor to drag over the body to shave it. God, I wish shaving was this easy. You have no idea, y'all. Okay. In order to break rigor mortis, you'll have to massage the body. Click and drag over the body to massage it. Okay. I'm glad this isn't timed. The eyeballs deflate once the body starts decomposing. Click and drag an eye cap into each eye socket and give it shape. Okay, so I guess... okay. To keep the eyes shut, you'll need to glue them. Click and drag the glue onto each eye. Okay. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. The mouth sags and hollows once the body starts decomposing. Click and drag the cotton balls to give it shape. Okay. Opening, you'll need to suture it. Okay. Click and drag the lotion over the body to moisturize. Okay. Embalming, removing the blood and replacing it with preserving chemicals. So, scalpel. You need a tube for draining the blood. Click on the cannoli. Is this it? Drag it into the carotid artery. Okay. Now you need to connect the embalming machine to, I guess, with this. Tubing. Okay. Now you'll need to connect the embalming machine to the cannula. Grab some additional tubing and drag it to the cannula. Okay. Drop it. Drop it! Thank you. Okay, so... click on the button. Turn it on. Okay. In order to evenly distribute the chemicals, you'll have to massage through the body. Okay. Okay. Click and drag over the body. God, I'm so bad at this. Okay. Okay. Gesundheit, Rosie. Okay. 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 Almost done. Oh. You need to drain the organs of any remaining fluids. Click the trocar and click and hold the abdomen until it's been drained. What's the trocar? Scalpel, cannula, tubing. Okay. Okay. And you're done. Mike will take care of Mr. Duval's makeup as well as dressing and putting him in the casket. Okay. It's time to attend the funeral. Came out of nowhere. I mean, it always sort of does, doesn't it? Yeah, one minute you're laughing, having fun, and the next, poof, that person is gone. Just like, gone. It's weird to think for too long, like staring at the sun. I start to feel all fuzzy when I think about it. It's so weird how our bodies just stop working like that. Yeah. Oh. So strange not seeing most people wearing white. White? Yeah, I think it's different for different family members. I can't remember. I haven't gone to many traditional funerals, so mostly white, but like definitely not red, no matter what. He always wanted to take his grandkids to the park, play catch. He loved playing catch. Yeah, he threw a mean curveball, that's for sure. Okay. Oh wait, can I sign this? Or is it too late for me to sign it? December 2nd, 10:22 a.m. I've got an email and the same cup of coffee. Hello, Charlie. Today's funeral is for a woman who died from breast cancer. Nothing fancy, just a standard cremation. Please don't hesitate to ask if you have any questions. Passing on this lovely thank you note. Hi, Amy. Thank you for the wonderful evening you and your staff put together for my father's funeral. He wasn't always an easy man to get along with, but I'm glad to have seen him off in such a kind way. Meet cutes for death positive cuties. Charlie, I was doing some reading. I know you hate it when I try to give you dating advice, but hear me out. There's this dating site that's specifically for people working in the death industry. Okay, so maybe I'm a little worried for you. You haven't mentioned anybody new since the breakup of 2014, but we will never speak of again after this moment. But you're always saying how tired you get of people being scared to ask about your day, so maybe meeting somebody in the industry isn't the worst idea. Just promise me you'll consider it, okay? It's harder for me to make sure you're seeing sunlight when I'm all the way across the ocean. I know you look like a babe with pale skin and witchy gothy aesthetics are super hot right now, but vitamin D is still a good thing. That's why I take vitamins. Because I also live in the Pacific Northwest where sun doesn't exist. Mom rant over. I'm going to try it out because it turns out people get super scared off when you tell them you work in a museum filled with dead bodies. Do you know how not interesting other people find teratomas? Charlie, I didn't know we were this weird to outside people. I've been spoiled by having a best friend who is as much of a weirdo as I am. Miss you. Let's grab a bottle of wine for our next Skype date. P.S. Have you signed up for Dead Meat? Isn't that the best name for the death industry dating website? Tender rules apply. You have to like me if you come across me, my profile or whatever. I'm not sure how it works just yet, though. I don't like the look of this, not one bit. I know you've only been with us for a few months, but maybe you're aware of a trouble Amy has been having. A small mom and pop shop like Rose and Daughters can't compete with the bigger guys. Anyway, don't tell Amy I sent this to you. Also, I'm starving, so I'm gonna go grab some fast food before taking the hearse through the car wash. 2 birds, 1 stone, and swinging back to the home. Do you want anything? A beef and cheddar? I'm gonna take the hearse through the drive-thru. Of course. It freaks people out. I love it. They get so awkward. Let me know. Heading out in 15 minutes. Paycheck coming late. Sorry. Hey, Matthew. This is embarrassing, but it seems I miscalculated some of our income and I don't have enough to pay you this week. Would it be terribly inconvenient if I cut you a check for next week instead? If you need the money urgently, please let me know. I feel terrible about this whole thing and I can't cut you a check from my personal account if need be. I'm so sorry about this. I assure you it won't happen again. LGBTQ funerals respect. Don't yawn before trying to start reading a very serious newsletter out loud. If you've been a long-time subscriber to our emails or follow us on social media, you've no doubt heard about the misgendering that transgender people are at times subjected to during their funerals. There have been notable situations where trans women have had their wishes overruled by their families and have had their hair cut or buried under the wrong names and subjected to the wrong pronouns in their obituary announcements. We care a lot about this because we believe in treating everyone with the same level of compassion, respect, and care. And this absolutely extends to pronouns and respecting the deceased wishes as per their lived experiences. The CDC's Funeral Director's Handbook on Death Registration and Fetal Death Reporting offers the FROT directive: enter male or female based on observation. Do not abbreviate or use other symbols. If sex cannot be determined after verification with medical records, inspection of the body, or other sources, enter unknown. Do not leave this item blank. Leaving it up to observation obviously enters into a world of issues since bodies can be so different, and because of ingrained bias, people can draw incorrect assumptions based on their own inaccurate observations. California has passed what is known as the Respect After Death Act, which states that the death certificate must reflect the deceased's gender identity as they lived it, so a step in the right direction. People who are trans deserve the same respect in death that people who are cisgender receive. Misgendering in death takes away this respect. It can also inflict hurt and trauma on spouses and friends that survive the deceased. So what can we do as funeral directors? Listen to the people who come into your office. In America, especially, some marriages may not be recognized as legal depending on the laws around same-sex marriage. But this doesn't mean you're not dealing with two people who have loved each other in the same way as another couple. Listen, learn, and always be respectful. While we have to work with the next of kin, your duty is also to ensure the deceased receives the utmost respect in their burial. If a funeral is to honor the deceased, then do that. Honor them. It's really sweet. Okay. One of these days this website is going to change. Okay. Oh, I have to reply to the freaking email. Okay, I'm on it. So, it didn't give her name, which is weird. Okay. So, I'm going to go over here. Okay. Before we cremate Mrs. Hall, we'll need to prepare her body. Mrs. Hall's family brought clothing and jewelry for her to wear. It's important to remove these before the cremation process, as to not... Let's start by removing Mrs. Hall's necklace. Click and drag the necklace and place it in the purple tray. We will place the necklace in the urn and Mrs. Hall's remains later. We need to be able to identify Mrs. Hall's remains after she's been cremated. Click and draw on the round identification tag and place it in the coffin. Great! Mrs. Hall is all set to be cremated now. Okay. Okay, so... wait. Yes, okay. So I gotta go over here to... Okay. This is the cremulator. Contrary to popular belief, cremation doesn't turn bodies into ash as so much as bone fragments. Using the cremulator, we'll break these bone fragments down into ash like remains. Let's start by placing the urn in the cremulator. Okay. Stop licking me. I'm doing very serious work here. Very serious work. Mrs. Hall isn't going to cremulate herself. Click and drag the bone fragments and drop them into the top of the cremulator. So we got this one. Oh, that's creepy. Okay. Now that all the bones have been processed, click and drag the urn back to the counter. Make sure to put Mrs. Hall's necklace back in the urn. Click on the necklace and drag it to the urn. Okay. Okay, don't forget the tag. Okay. All done. Amy will take the urn to the funeral parlor and present it alongside some flowers. This is nice in a weird way. She'd like that we're all here talking. She always tried to keep the family together. The food is delicious. I know that's weird, but these crab cakes are perfect. Glad she was cremated and not in like an open casket or something. Seeing her like that, I don't know if I could have. At least we all got to say goodbye. She would have liked that. She fought really hard. She was proud of herself. She never gave up. Not once. She would have hated this music. She never wanted her funeral to be sad. She would have wanted us smiling. She said so. February 14th, 10:14 a.m. Email. I got some email. News from the future of Rose's funeral. Oof. It is with a heavy heart that I write to let you all know that Rose and Daughters will no longer be in business. I had no idea how to start this email, and resources I Googled told me that it would be best and easiest way to break the ice. Be direct, but remorseful, Google said. The truth is, I don't really know what to say. Since my father passed away, I've done my best to make Rose and Daughters warm and friendly to anyone who chose to use our services. It was my memorial to him, the original Rose, in a lot of ways. And you've all become like family, including you, Charlie, our most recent addition. But it's been getting harder to make ends meet. Rent is going up in the neighborhood, and I'm finding less and less like I have the energy for this business. There's a lot of competition from other funeral homes, larger corporations than we are that can take on more business and offer more impressive services. You know the way it goes. So, we've been bought, or I sold. Either way, soon. Hillside Heritage Enterprises, Incorporated, a company that owns many funeral homes in the city and across the country, will replace Rose and Daughters starting from the beginning of next month. Same building, same name. They're keeping the name Rose and Daughters Funeral Home for tax purposes, although honestly I'm trying hard not to see it as a move on their part to keep up the image that it's a family-run business. I don't know how to feel about that, But I also don't know if there's anything I can do at this point either. I've signed the papers. At least my father's legacy is still intact somewhat. They have a good reputation and have agreed to keep you all on. That was one of my stipulations. I would sell as long as you all weren't out without a job. Sorry I didn't tell you in a more personal way. I would love to have a company lunch, but I didn't have the heart to tell you in person. This was easier for me. Please understand. Keep on protecting the earth with the green burials. You lived your life mindful of the environment, doing your part to reduce pollution and generally help out where you can. So why not continue doing that, even in death? At least that's the thinking for a lot of people who are turning to green or natural burials. Natural cemeteries are becoming more popular and are focused on a few rules. Mainly, it's that bodies aren't allowed to be embalmed with chemicals that can damage the environment, and bodies must be buried in a biodegradable shroud or casket. Not only is this better for the environment, it's also cheaper. At Union Cemetery in Ontario, Canada, a natural burial is just over $1,000. So better for the people, the environment. Just maybe not so good for big business. Let's not forget, people, this is still a business after all. But really, why go green? Green burials help preserve natural resources, work to reduce carbon emissions, protect the health of those preparing bodies, and restore or preserve natural habitats. Embalming fluids tend to contain formaldehyde, and the funeral directors report a higher incidence of leukemia. Going green and not using toxic chemicals for embalming helps protect funeral directors, while at the same time lessening the impact we have on the environment after we're gone. We are at Funerals Monthly think green burials are pretty cool. What do you think? Reply and let us know. Challenger approaches. Charlie, I've been playing a new game when things are slow at work. It's called Tales from the Crypt, Sweeper. Sweeper, get it? Get it? It's like Minesweeper, but way harder. Like, seriously, it's really, really difficult. And I thought my Minesweeper game was on point after working that overnight first desk job at the hotel for 3 years, but I must have gotten rusty. Anyways, instead of mines, you want to avoid graves so you don't disturb the adorable ghost. The main character also kind of looks like you. Want to start a healthy competition? High scorer gets to pick the restaurant we go to when one of us is in town next. Ha-cha-cha! I thought I would forward this to you. In situations like this, we typically connect people like Brian with grief counselor or other professionals who can really help him. Sometimes we get emails like this when people don't know where else to turn. It's difficult, and family isn't always the most reliable for some people. Usually I would be happy to connect him, but I'm feeling a little tired today. Not my usual self, and it would be good for you to start building these kinds of relationships on your own. You're a treasure, Charlie. Hi, Amy. I know this email might be a bit odd, but you said if I was ever having troubles, should reach out, and you would know somebody I could talk to about all of this. I don't know what to do now. I know my grandmother had lived a full, good life and was very happy, and that she's not in any pain now, but I feel empty, Amy. I've never felt this empty before. What am I supposed to do now? I thought I was stronger than this. Can you refer me to someone to talk to? I don't want to freak out my mom right now. She's dealing with enough with work and the will and trying to just be the best mom she can. I just need somebody to tell me that it'll be okay. Thank you, and I'm sorry for being an inconvenience. Charlie, I thought you'd like to see this thank you note. Hi, Amy. I am so eternally grateful that you were able to accommodate our request for my sister's funeral. It was a beautiful service, and she would have been happy with it. It's such a weird thing to say, isn't it? Thank you again from the bottom of my heart. Cremation pacemaker? Please see the note below about the pacemaker. They can be tricky. Hi, Amy. You asked if there was any special instructions we wanted to pass along. Just please cremate my father. He has a pacemaker too. The doctor told me that need to be removed. Thanks, Mariana. Alright, before I play Tales from the Crypt. Oh, can I not play? Give me the Crypt Sweeper. Oh man. Did I lose? I don't know what any of this means. Oh. Okay, so... Oh! Okay. I guess triangle means 3 ghosts? Yeah, triangle means 3 ghosts. This thingy means 1 ghost. Okay. So, how do I start over? Okay. Okay. Oh, there's so many ghosts. Oh, does that mean 2 ghosts or 4 ghosts? Yep. How does that also mean 3 ghosts? That's not fair. And it's... Does it change every time? Oh, that's nonsense. Oh, that is absolute nonsense. No. I'm gonna get too bogged down with this. Alright, sir. Are you done? Okay. Mr. Reyes came directly from the hospital, so we don't have to worry about removing any valuables from him, as the family did not provide any for us to include. Do not lick my leg! I am about to do surgery. What is with y'all today? However, Mr. Reyes has a pacemaker that we will need to remove before cremation. Because pacemakers are batteries, they will explode inside the hot heat of the cremation machines. We definitely do not want that. Let's start by removing Mr. Reyes' pacemaker. Okay. So, drag the scalpel over the heart. Stop licking my leg! Okay. You can see the pacemaker. Click on the forceps to click and drag the pacemaker out of the heart. Stop licking me! Forceps. Okay. Put the forceps away, then place the round identification tag in the coffin. Mr. Reyes is all set to be cremated now. Okay. Okay, so break down the... Help if I held down the button. Put the bones in the top. Come on. There we go. But I'm sorry. This is bad. I shouldn't be laughing. Okay. Okay. Alright, Amy will take the urn to the funeral parlor and present it along with some flowers. Okay, time to go to the funeral. Did you ever end up clearing the air with your father? No, we talked a few times, but no, not really. He sounded like a difficult man. He was stubborn. That's just it. Stubborn. What do you want to do after this? It's pretty nice out. Let's change and go find a patio somewhere. Sounds good. I could really use a beer right now. Hey, did I ever tell you the time we tailgated? I always told him to quit smoking, but of course he never listened to me, so that figures. I wonder if he ever liked me. He was nice to me, but I don't know. He never seemed like he really cared if I was there or not. February 28th, 10:35 a.m. I got an email. Oh, so many emails. Thought I'd pass this along to you. Hi, Amy. I just wanted to thank you for the service the other month, and I apologize if I was abrupt. It's kind of shock for me, and I didn't feel comfortable with the whole process. He wasn't supposed to die yet. It hasn't been easy. Welcome back! Now, we rarely do listicles here, but for the month's newsletter, we thought a listicle would be the best way to deliver this month's advice. What not to say at a funeral. We know figuring out the right thing to say to a grieving friend can be extremely difficult, and since that's a personal issue, it's hard to give specific advice. Some things will be more comforting to other people. But fortunately, we can deliver a bit more solid advice on what not to say to someone who is grieving. So here it is. Funerals, that's a weird name. Monthly's top 5 things not to say at a funeral. At least they're no longer suffering. Even if this is true, nobody wants to hear this, it's probably not your place to dictate. Who wants to be told that the death of somebody they love is for the best? Like I said, even if it's true, don't be that jerk and don't say it. Just don't say it. Were they saved? No religious statements. Just don't. Why? Because not everyone agrees with your religious views, and not only is it not always comforting, it can also be insulting. They're with the angels now. See above's note, then rinse, repeat. Let me know how I can help. This one is tricky. You want to help, but those in mourning won't always ask for help. If you want to help, suggest specific things, for example. I'm free if you need someone to babysit the kids. Actions are always better than passive statements. Cook something for them, take them to their favorite restaurant, or buy tickets to see a movie together. I know how you feel. Even if you think you do, everyone grieves differently. Don't focus this on yourself. Empathy doesn't involve having to commiserate. Sometimes people will want to hear your experiences, but don't assume they will. Ask first. For a quicker version of this list that can be applied to any situation, don't say stuff just for the sake of saying stuff. Just say, I'm sorry, if you don't know what else to say. You hate mushrooms so much, I've found the perfect thing for you. I've been thinking about death. I know, shocker. Look what you've done to me. I think I want this mushroom suit. No, it's not called that, but I can't remember the name of it. I'm writing you on my phone, so I don't feel like Googling it right now. Anyways, the idea is that it's a biodegradable suit that the deceased wears. It's made with like what people call a biomix, i.e., mushrooms and other microorganisms that help with that help to decompose bodies, neutralize toxins in the body, and provide nutrients for the soil for plants. I think this one company even offers casket liners that for use in green caskets. I think this is what I want. It'll be just like Hannibal. Wait, don't two people I said that, okay? But seriously, it's pretty cool. I love all the death innovation happening. We might as well do something when we are in the ground, you know? Love you. Think about it and let me know your thoughts. I want all of your thoughts. All of them. If it's not this, then maybe I'll have my ashes made into jewelry. But seriously, I'm probably going to do this. There's no harm in planning ahead, am I right? Charlie, I was hoping I wouldn't have to confront the situation. Yet, anyways, they're never easy. Rose and Daughters has been asked to prepare the body of a young man who took his own life. He had a will prepared and asked for cremation, but the family has demanded a traditional burial instead. Unfortunately, he didn't make anyone his power of attorney or didn't have any witnesses sign his living will or his advance directive regarding these wishes. So his family is legally in the right to do whatever they want with his body. It's unfortunate, but we have to do as his family wishes. Matthew has graciously offered to take this on, as if you are uncomfortable with the subject instead, we have a second body you can prepare for a funeral we're hosting later in the afternoon. Charlie, is this suicide something you're comfortable dealing with? Let me know if I'm here to if you need me. Good day, Miss Rose. Disregard her son's will as it concerns matters of his burial. He was clearly not thinking right and didn't know what he really wanted. Proceed with an open casket funeral. As for payment, we'll bring a check. This is really hard because one, it's like my job, but at the same time, okay. So no, I'm not comfortable doing that. Okay. Alright, so we're gonna clean. As for an open casket funeral, let's start by cleaning the body. Okay. Break massaging the body. Come on, dude. I'm doing it. Come on. Okay. I don't even remember how to... Come on, dude. There we go. Alright, turn on the embalming machine. All done. Mike will take care of Mrs. Rossi's makeup as well as dressing and putting her in her casket. Okay. She's no longer suffering or in pain. Yeah. She's in a better place now. She was too good for this world. Okay, thanks, Aunt Sandy. I haven't cried since she died. Not once. How is Anna crying and not me? I'm the one who lost a parent. Where is Maria? She couldn't be here. She didn't want to see her mother's body. I mean, I don't blame her. Anyway, I'm pretty impressed with the food. Did you try the amaretti? Doesn't look like her at all. March 3rd, 10:45 a.m. Email. We are pleased to bring on Rose and Daughters as part of Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated. They will be another institution amongst hundreds of other properties owned across the country. But of course, as part of the adjustment process to the Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated culture, there will be a number of changes that will come to Rose and Daughters. We will send out the e-memo regarding the specifics and details of these changes, and we expect them to be followed impeccably. Glad to be leading the way for Rose and Daughters from now on. Ugh. Different funeral traditions. Funeral rites, even in our own culture, may be something many of us may be unfamiliar with. For many people, all they know of funeral traditions are what they've seen in media. But, and I think this goes without saying, funeral rites and traditions aren't the same across the board. Different cultures have different protocols for cleaning the body to different aspects of the service itself. Religion provides different paths to dealing with a death, but the goal is almost always the same: offering support, guidance, and ease to the people who are grieving. In Judaism, interment usually begins immediately after someone has passed. Up until burial, the body is never supposed to be alone, so often families will appoint a shomer, a guardian, to remain with the body. Preparations for burial begin as soon as possible in Muslim traditions as well. Local Islamic community organizations are also involved and help the family with arrangements for the funeral service and burial. Not all practices are strictly religiously focused. In the aughts in South Korea, the amount of graveyard space began to shrink drastically, causing a law to be passed that required families to remove a loved one's body from its burial place after 60 years. Many families began to cremate more often, but there are also companies that compress remains into beads in turquoise, pink, or black called death beads. This also occurs in North America, Europe, and Japan, but remains much more common in South Korea because of the space issue in graveyards and the expenses of cremation. And not all practices are somber either. Ever hear of the turning of the bones or the Famitahana, a ritual by the Malagasy people of Madagascar? Famitahana has families return to an ancestral crypt, exhume the bodies wrapped in cloth before dancing with the bodies to lively music. This practice is a celebration, remembrance, and the way of keeping the deceased involved in the family news. Death can be a difficult time for many people, obviously, but that doesn't mean there isn't a beauty in the ways we choose to honor and celebrate our deceased. Can't really write much right now. I have a lot of work I have to do with an ingenual hernia from 1750. It's the oldest in our collection, and you can even see this bit of a paper the surgeon put in after removing the hernia. Super cool. I'll send you the link when we have it cataloged. What is my life? What is that sentence I just typed? But anyway, this event I'm forwarding you is taking place near you. Figured you'd be into it. Might help with that feeling of restlessness you were talking about before. Could be good to talk about some of the things you're feeling. Lots of death positive people there. Sounds like it'll be a safe space. Come increase awareness of death with a view of helping people make the most of their finite lives. Join us, have tea and cake, and talk with others about our thoughts, fears, and illuminations on death. The founder of the Death Cafe movement, John Underwood, once said, "When people talk about death and dying, it tends to illustrate the humanity." See everyone at the Upside Down Jar next Thursday. Death Cafe. Alright. Can I just say first off that this is bullcrap? Not knowing how these corporations run, I wouldn't be surprised if they're monitoring her emails now. No, okay, I don't really believe that. I'm just upset. I get that Amy didn't have much of a choice. You can only fight a huge corporation taking all of your business for so long. This isn't 6 feet under. And they just swooped in, and now we have to deal with their BS practices. They're colder than the corpse I picked up from the morgue this morning. Who charges this much for funerals? It feels dirty and exploitive. Let's grab a drink after work. I need to blow off some steam, and emails aren't really the most appropriate place to do this. Too late for me, I guess. P.S. If you're reading this, Hillside Overlord, good. What are their prices? Rose and Daughters is the newest funeral home to join Hillside Heritage, proudly serving 56 different communities nationwide. Since 1964, Rose and Daughters features several available packages for burials and cremations, a spacious visitation suite for added comfort, and catering available on site. Rely on our dedicated and friendly staff to help you with your funeral needs, whether you need our immediate assistance for a loved one or would like to pre-plan your own funeral arrangements. Our services. We offer many packages fitting to suit every size of gathering and budget. Ask us about our selection of caskets, urns, and headstones, the largest in the country. Funeral packages. Bronze funeral package, an intimate gathering and memorial for your loved one, customized to fit your individual needs, best suited for groups of 25 to 50. Heh? Silver funeral package, a small but special celebration for your loved one, best suited for groups of 50 to 100. Gold funeral package, give your loved one the best of the best with Give your loved one the best with the best we have to offer. A large gathering to celebrate your loved one, best suited for groups of over 100. Subject to additional fees and taxes, payment plans available. Okay, so it's not giving us like how much everything is, which is probably scary. Chad Grant, forward cremation. You won't call me Charlie? That's lame. Charlotte, below are the details of our next client. Ensure you follow the requested specifications exactly. After you're done, I will review your work in order to properly evaluate at the end of the month. Blech. Thank you, Mr. Grant, for agreeing to take care of Jocelyn's cremation. The bike accident was... well, it was more than I was expecting. I know she wanted to be cremated, and to be honest, I don't think I could bear seeing her like that after what happened. Cool. I'll get right to it. Okay. Ionis Lonsko or Ionsko? Okay. Place the round identification tag in place. Oh my gosh, thank you. Okay. Oh, that's a pretty urn. Why do I always have the hardest time grabbing this one bone? Okay. Alright. Should we do a vigil at the spot? Careless drivers, I swear to God. I'm glad I'm here, but wow, I just need a glass of wine and to binge watch something right now. I have to go through all of her things. How am I supposed to decide what to keep? If you need help, I can help. No, thanks. But no, I don't know. It's so intimate. It feels like I should do it myself. She would kill me if others saw the things we have. Yeah. She was kind of a closed book, except to you. Yeah. Yeah, she was special. She was always so careful. Wore her helmet, signaled, used the bike lanes. Asshole drivers. They need to pay attention. Have you heard what's happening to the driver? No, I haven't wanted to ask Leia. This has been hard enough on them without asking about the legal ramifications of all this. Yeah, after all this, let's see what we can do to help them. Shouldn't deal with the death of their partner all by themselves. So glad it was a cremation. I would have lost it seeing her body. Okay, so I can't click on the thing. Okay. March 24th, 10:30 a.m. Email. Probably from an asshole boss. I want to read this first. Home funerals. Why do it? I feel like this game was written by Caitlin Dowdy. Like, I really do. The appeal of home funeral is apparent for many, especially if the deceased was somebody very close to you. The idea of keeping them at home until they are ready to be buried or cremated can be comforting. It wasn't that long ago that we were taking care of our own deceased, but nowadays people are quick to pass off their loved ones to a funeral home. Most families aren't given the option and assume this is mandatory. Funeral homes will almost always prepare the deceased using embalming and or other methods to make them appear more alive. But isn't this process counterintuitive to the grieving process? I would like to go the other way. Thank you. Maybe? Okay. Being around the deceased allows the bereaved to spend a longer period of time with their loved one's body, which can help them mourn or give them opportunities to family members and friends to see the deceased one last time, before they are taken to be buried or cremated. The idea of keeping the deceased body at home might sound gross, but it's important to understand that decomposition takes a long time, and you can further slow this process by keeping your home cool and dry. To be around your loved ones and to see them decay naturally is an important part of the grieving process. Home funerals aren't just more intimate, but they are economical. A traditional funeral, complete with the body preparation, service, flowers, cards, and many other hidden costs and fees, can cost upwards of $7,000 to $10,000. When you're able to take care of your loved one yourself, to wash and dress them, and to organize their viewing from home, the only cost remaining is entirely the cremation or burial itself. However, it's important to understand that different rules apply given on what state you live in. In all states, it is legal to have your loved one's body at home after they die. States like Alabama, Connecticut, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, Nebraska, New Jersey, and New York require a funeral director's involvement after signing the death certificate to overseeing burial or cremation. If this is the route you decide to go for yourself or for your loved ones, make sure you follow everything by the book. But just know that this may be an option available to you and your loved ones if so choose. Dr. Zeus? I just saw a video of a gorilla walking on its hind legs. Like a human being, Charlie. A human being. We, as a species, have seen the beginning of our end. Charlie, I need a drink. Beer after work. Also, I really want mozzarella sticks. I can be both hungry and angry. And no, I will not say hangry. Ever. You just did, dude. As stated in a previous email, here are new rules and code of conduct I expect to follow from now on while on any premises belonging to the Hillsides Heritage Enterprises Incorporated. First and foremost, there is required uniform and strict dress code from now on. Second, most importantly to this is that no tattoos are to be visible. If you have visible tattoos, ensure they are properly covered and hidden. When speaking with customers and clients, consider the opportunity to upsell, i.e. always encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase the higher quality package. We find that encouraging loved ones to think of the comfort and style of the deceased as an experience with no price limit on it. Additionally, food is no longer allowed to be brought in. Instead, encourage the deceased loved ones to purchase our premium sandwich and appetizer food package. Our partner Catering Concepts provides high-quality food that will be delivered weekly from their factory and can easily be defrosted the morning of the funeral. I expect all of the above changes to be instituted effective immediately to ensure the smooth transition into high-quality services Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated is known for. In everything he is. Hello, Charlotte. I have reviewed your request on behalf of a potential family inquiring if we have at Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated can and will perform green burials. I should have informed you of this in the beginning, but we do not perform green funerals as they are not cost effective. All employees and subsidiaries of Hillside Heritage Incorporated must comply. We do not wish to lose potential customers though, so do try your hardest to convince the families requesting green burials to instead choose a traditional burial package complete with embalming, caskets, and vaults instead. I trust you will ensure we do not lose any customers, Charlotte. The last contract acquisition in the city. Latest contract acquisition. Proud to announce that Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated received a contract with the city to dispose of any unclaimed bodies. This is an important revenue stream for us, as I'm sure I don't need to explain to you, Charlotte. Although Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated is being paid a decent wage from the city for these services, cremation is preferred here as it is the most cost-efficient of the two options. The first unclaimed body will be handling belongs to the middle-aged man, possibly homeless, whose body has yet to be claimed. No special preparations are needed for the cadaver aside from cremation. Oh, that sounds dangerous. How do we know that he doesn't have a pacemaker? Okay. Alright. Before we cremate this gentleman, we need to prepare his body. He doesn't seem to have any valuables on him that would be damaged during cremation, so let's just worry about putting his identification tag in the coffin with him. This is gonna blow up in our face. Like, literally. Oh, I guess it didn't. Okay. Is there not going to be a funeral? Why am I so bad at this? Okay. This is really sad. April 9th, 10:19 a.m. Uh-oh, somebody's not covering up her tattoos. We are thrilled to announce that Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated subsidiary Rose and Daughters has signed a contract with Morning Valley Hospital, allowing us access to all of the cadavers that come through their pediatric and maternity wards. That's a rough sentence to read. We are excited for the opportunity to work with Morning Valley Hospital, which intakes over 100,000 patients and receives over $15 million in funding and donations annually. This will no doubt be a boon for Hillside Heritage Enterprises Incorporated by its distinct future. That's really rough to read. It's really hard to read something like that because you're sitting here reading an email, and you are a funeral home, and you do deal with death every single day, multiple times a day, and your boss is more excited for the money that's going to be coming in from these deaths than just remorseful for the fact that this is a pediatric and maternity ward that they have this contract with, and yeah, it's really hard. It's really hard to read. Water, water everywhere, and not a drop to drink. Water cremation. We can call it a few different things, like flameless cremation, a bit of an oxymoron, but we'll let it slide. Or perhaps more commonly, resomation. Its technical name, though, it's actually alkaline hydrolysis. Whatever you want to call it, it's here, and it's an environmentally friendly alternative to traditional cremation. But for the sake of this newsletter, let's call it water cremation. We all know that traditional cremation and burials take a huge toll on the environment, the high energy consumption that adds to the greenhouse gas effect being one of the chief amongst them, and water cremation is an alternative method available to the eco-conscious amongst. How does it work? It's basically a water-based chemical process that uses really strong alkali in water heated up to very high, about 350 Fahrenheit. It's basically heated up very high, about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. It basically works like a sped up version of natural decomposition. The excess water gets put through the same water treatment process as any sewage water at a factory. And alkaline hydrolysis uses significantly less energy than traditional cremation processes. Neat, huh? It's been around for a bit, and in some places became legal around the end of the first decade of the aughts. Not a bad alternative for those who don't want their death to have any greater impact on the environment than necessary. Oh, Jen's got a girlfriend. Dating a special effects makeup artist, and she is like the coolest person I've ever met in my life. She totally loves Ava's possession and was equally freaked out by the possession scenes, but so utterly delighted at the idea of a support group for people who have been possessed. That was your best recommendation in a while, Charlie. You were slipping there. I was getting worried you had lost your taste. But yeah, her name is Lily, and she's super death positive and isn't freaked out by my work at all. And also isn't too into like the last dude I saw, Jason, Michael, I don't remember. I just really like spending time with her. I can talk about whatever I want, and it's never a conversation stopper. She also totally gets what I mean when I say that I like that, like, working with death and spending so much time thinking about death actually makes me happier. It makes everything else feel so much more worth it, you know? Memento Mori and whatever they taught us in that one poetry class we took. We just clicked. Feels good. Fun and affirming, like dating should be. I'm thinking of taking her to Maple Meadows. She's super into roller coasters, and I think the idea of sharing cotton candy, or maybe not, I don't want to throw up on the rides, is sickeningly cute. Then maybe I'll kiss her on top of the Ferris wheel. Be super corny and cliche for once in my life. Anywho, enough about me for now. I'm still kind of in shock from your last email. Do you think you're gonna do it? You know you have my support 100%, no matter what you decide. I think that's the register of business. We'll look at that in a second. Charlie, it's official. I put in my 2 weeks notice. I know how unhappy I am. You know how unhappy I am for working for Mega Corporation 101. My skills, especially my driving ones, are useful in other professions. I'm not worried about myself. But you I am worried about. You too good for this corporate scum. You actually care about the people you work with and for. Don't let them defeat you, Kay. P.S. I'll bring beers over next week. We can talk a bit more freely. So I'm going to look at this before I look at National Rent-A-View Agency. What is your business? Funeral service. Enter a keyword. Business checklist. 11. You need 11 permits. Page 4. And I can't look at all the pages probably because it's going to take me forever. If you're interested in starting a funeral services business, you may need the following permits and licenses. Articles of Incorporation. The applicant must file Articles of Incorporation BCA Form 1 with Central Production and Verification Services Branch in order to incorporate. Number 2, registration of a business name for a corporation. To register a business name for a corporation under the Business Name Acts, the applicant must complete a BNA Form 2 to receive a master business license. Number 3, registration of a sole proprietorship general partnership. The applicant must complete a BNA Form 1 with Central Production and Verification Services Branch to register a business name for a sole proprietorship/general partnership under the Business Names Act. That's page 1 of 4. Going back to our email. Home funeral for my wife. Ugh, I just don't want to listen to this guy anymore. Let's read. Oh, God. Okay. Let's go, backwards. Dear Mr. Grant, regarding the last time we spoke, my daughters and I would still prefer to host a home funeral ourselves to keep my wife here until she's ready to be buried. I just want to make sure she's taken care of. Her heart attack was so sudden, we don't know what to do. We just want to make sure she has a proper send-off. Wow, this is so slow. Hold on. Dear Mr. Demka, I understand your desire to keep your wife at home, but I assure you, the best way to honor your wife is through a traditional funeral package instead. I promise you your wife's funeral with us will be a beautiful, intimate gathering where all of her beloved friends and family can come together and say their goodbyes. A standard embalming will allow for everyone to view your wife, ensuring that everyone can see her final time as she was, beautiful, peaceful, and courageous. Letting us take care of the food for our prepared food service would ensure you not to have a single thing to worry about on this day. You and your daughters are going through a hard time right now. Let us here at Rose and Daughters make this difficult time a little easier for you. Dear Mr. Grant, okay, we'll take the traditional funeral package. Thank you for considering us in this hard time. Charlotte, I see you were able to convince the Dimka family to take a standard funeral. I see you were not able to convince the Dimka family to take a standard funeral. I had to contact them myself in order to not lose the sale. Please read the enclosed emails for a lesson on how to properly upsell potential customers. I don't want to see that we've lost any customers because your refusal to upsell. That is part of your job. Gross. Sure thing, I'll get right to it. Die and burn in hell. Alright. Okay. Okay. Oh, no, wait, I'm on this side, yep. How did I do it last time? I still don't know. Okay, turn on the embalming machine. Have we met Mike? I know we met Matthew. Okay. This feels so impersonal. She would have hated this. Yeah, I don't know. They must have had their reasons. Oh, hey. What did you think of that trailer I sent you? Oh, yeah. I heard that show was so good. I saw that video of the one kid actor doing karaoke. I'm starving. Why do these things always make you so hungry? You're always hungry. Rude. I mean, true, but rude. It's so cold in here. I think they have the air conditioning on too high. Yeah, let's go for a walk later. It's really nice out. Would be good to stretch my legs. Do you think we did the right thing? I feel bad not doing what my mom asked for. I know, honey, but what that Chad guy said seems right. We don't want to dishonor her memory by letting her rot. Yeah, I just want my mom to know I loved her. Wish I had yelled at her before. Shh, it's okay. She knew you loved her. Fights happen. Please don't be hard on yourself. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to miss her. Me too. August 30th, 9 o'clock a.m. Stuck along. Oh, I get it. Haha. Okay, go you. Okay. Congratulations on your new business! Charlie, I am so happy for you. I know it's been a rough year for you. Seriously, I think our wine intake saw a bazillion% increase, but you've stuck through it like a champ. You deserve this. Finally, being your own boss is a great move for you. No more having to explain anything you don't want to. I'm trying to not be too cheesy right now. Can't wait to be home next week for our visit and to check out your new space. Always, Jen L, less than 3. Have you heard about these green burial pods? When I find the link in my 1 million open tabs, I'll shoot it over to you. You'll never believe what new job I am working now. Open this email to find out. Clickbait Matthew Jeffrey. Hey Charlie, when I first became a hearse driver, I was told that my most important job wasn't steering, it was sympathizing. I respectfully disagree, and thankfully I concentrated on my driving skills since I was now working as a, wait for it, bus driver. A school bus driver, Charlie, can you believe that? Pretty sure if I said the most important part of my job now wasn't steering, I'd be fired immediately. I didn't know how else to tell you. For some reason, I was worried you'd think less of me. But I don't know why. You've never been a judgmental kind, and besides, corpses are way easier to deal with than children. Screaming children, might I add. I actually love it. These kids can be pretty cute. But don't tell Amy that I told you that. She was always harping on me not having any kids and for being all cynical about them. Congrats on your new business, Charlie. I'm proud of you. I'll swing by your new place one day and show you my new wheels. Maybe we can grab a bite to eat. Yeah. Charlie, dear, I am so proud of you. I knew there was something special in you when I hired you for Rosen Daughters. If there's anything I can do for you, please do not hesitate to ask. I am always happy to help. I surely miss you and Matthew's terrible sense of humor. Funeral home and natural burial park. Oh, she got a park too! Yay! Magnolia Forest, named after the magnolia trees that surround the funeral home, specializes in at-home funerals and green burials in our natural burial park. Our goal is to empower families and encourage them to have a closer relationship with death and the dying process. I swear to God, this is written by Caitlin Dowdy. The death of a loved one can be confusing and sometimes traumatic time, and we want you to feel fully involved in our loved one's death care decisions. Whether you're looking to care for your loved one from the comfort of your home, be present during their cremation, or bury them in the natural cemetery, Magnolia Forest is here to work with you and provide these simple but intimate and meaningful options. Natural burial park. Our natural burial park allows the body to return to the earth and recycle naturally. It is intended as an environmentally sustainable alternative to existing funeral practices. Our park has room for bodies of all sizes and ages, as well as beloved pets. Families also have the option to bury their loved ones themselves if they so choose. Prices. We believe in being transparent about our prices and practices. We are happy to explain all of our prices, work within your budget, and hope to make you feel comfortable and confident in your decisions. Let us know if we can answer any of your questions. Home funeral, $1,000 all inclusive. Green burial and service, $2,250 for adults, all inclusive. Direct cremation, $600 all inclusive. Infants are buried at no charge. We can provide a 3x3 plot and help opening and closing the grave. That almost made me start crying. Oh wow. Dear Charlie, today's the day already, isn't it? I can't believe how quickly this has come up. Thank you for understanding and for your work. You've made today easier already. See you at 1 p.m. I'll see you soon. Okay. This hurts. I thought it'd be easier, but it's not. It hurts so much. But thank you for helping me give her the funeral she always wanted. Anyway, I think we're ready to get started now.
Thank you for joining me as I played A Mortician's Tale by Laundry Bear Games. I do have a few things to say about this game, but before I get started with my review, I just wanted to say that my opinions are all subjective, and I in no way intend offense to anyone, especially not to the creators of the game. However, if there is anyone who disagrees with me on any of my points, I am open to a friendly discussion, but not to debate or to arguing. I want this to be a chill community, and I'm not above removing hateful comments and the people who made them. That being said, and since this is still a baby channel with 0 subscribers as of the recording of this review, I want to explain my point system. I have broken down my review into 5 short segments: story, art, music, gameplay, and overall. And for each segment, I will rate that category with either a star, a half star, or no star, depending on my opinion, my purely personal and subjective opinion of that category. The first 4 categories are pretty self-explanatory, but for the overall segment, I will be taking everything from the other 4 segments and rating how they work together, while also determining whether or not the game I am reviewing has a replayability aspect. Now, without further ado, let's get started. I'm a big fan of Caitlin Doughty and her Ask a Mortician YouTube channel and her organization, The Order of the Good Death. And there were several times where I swear Caitlin Doughty had written some of the story. It also came at no surprise when I saw both her name and The Order of the Good Death pop up in the acknowledgments at the end credits. The main character even has Caitlin's bangs. This story very heavily touches on death, as well as how the corporate funeral industry is a toxic cesspool designed to leech money from the emotionally vulnerable. If it weren't for the fact that it's hard for me to tell where Caitlin Doughty ends and the original content begins, I would give this story a full star. However, I will give it a half a star because it did make me cry. A little. The character design, the limited color palette, and the environments are all on the simple side, which meshed well with the text-heavy storytelling. It also helped with the icky bits, giving us an introductory look into the life of a mortician. I appreciated that we didn't have to see the entire embalming process, but I did find it morbidly fascinating to see all that went into it. I even enjoyed the variety of grievers that attended the funerals, or didn't attend, as in the case of the homeless man. The art actually did a lot to help the story be more original in that it illustrated the different types of funerals specifically offered by Rose and daughters, as well as how differently people mourn. Because of this, I give the art a star. If you like music that either make you cry or put you to sleep, do I have a soundtrack for you? There were times where I honestly don't remember there being music because it melted into the background so seamlessly. Okay, yes, I did have to turn it down at the beginning, but it was so mellow that it was nearly non-existent. That doesn't mean it wasn't good, though. I enjoyed listening to it and finding it later to add to my instrumental Spotify playlist. This video is not sponsored by Spotify, which is a good thing because I'm actually mad at them for making it impossible to find the song you are looking for unless you have premium. For giving me a good addition to said playlist, I give the music a star. Here's the thing. I feel that this was less of a game and more of an interactive story. It was linear to a fault, and what gameplay elements there were handed to you. You didn't have to remember any of the steps, nor were you punished if you got any of them wrong, because you couldn't. The story made it impossible for you to mess up. Am I complaining? Absolutely not. I would never have been able to remember all of the steps for the embalming process, but because the gameplay didn't impact the progression of the story, it's hard for me to really call it gameplay. What was gameplay was good and didn't make me rage like some previous games, so I will at least give it half a star. Aside from the very Ask a Mortician vibes for the story, there was a decent amount of originality in it to forgive Caitlin Dowdy's voice popping into my head every couple of minutes, and the art and music made up for the rest. Setting the gameplay aside, I really have to give the overall game a full star for tugging on those emotional heartstrings and expertly illustrating a huge problem in our society. Big death. Is that the right term? Well, it is now. I highly recommend checking out Ask a Mortician, which I will link below, because not only does she provide great advice for families having to deal with the loss of a loved one, she also does immense amount of research and highlights new green options available for those who want to continue to protect the environment even after they're gone. I personally want to be a tree. Not to go completely on a tangent, I give this game 4 full stars. Thank you everyone for watching Devalianty Plays a Mortician's Tale. If you enjoyed what you saw, please let me know what you liked most in the comments. Please refrain from any hate toward me or the game developers. This review is just my opinion, and the devs worked really hard to make this game happen, and they deserve our support, even though they made me cry a little at the end there. That's all for now, folks, and I'll see you next time.